He wanted this opportunity tonight. What will he do with it? Now, a big topic is going to be his use of tariffs. Commerce Secretary came out today and said, oh, they may be erased tomorrow. Why? Price pressure. I want to discuss this. Let's bring in our guests. I only have one topic that I want to talk to about this, okay? We have the professor of economics and public policy at the University of Michigan. The guy's been blowing up on Twitter. That's where I saw him, Justin Wolfers. He is so good at explaining and fact-checking, really good. And the man who literally wrote the book on Trumponomics, that's what the book is called, former Trump senior economic advisor, Stephen Moore. I have one question. It's good to see you both. Nice to meet you, Professor Wolfer. I hope I get to have you on more. Stephen, I love having you. I'm going to let you talk to each other. One topic, okay? Stephen, you start. The proposition is this. The reason Lutnick said they're going to relax the tariffs is because they will absolutely raise prices for people, and that's bad for Trump. So this is a bluff that hopefully gets him a better deal, but if they stay in place, it's a problem. What's your take? And then, Professor, you answer him.
Well, I'll go first, and I'll simply say, Chris, that you've got your economics pretty right, that if you put a tariff on something, it's going to cost more to the consumer. There's very little doubt about that. Now, Trump uses, as you've been discussing previously, Trump uses these tariffs as a negotiating tactic. It looks like, by the way, it may be that Canada's already blinked on this one. We'll see if that happens. But remember, so much of the rest of the Trump agenda, reducing tax rates on businesses, deregulating the economy, the idea of producing more oil and gas, those are deflationary. So I think overall, Trump's agenda will reduce prices.
The thing I love about this is the first time I've ever seen Stephen Moore go on television and defend a tax hike. Tariffs are a tax. They're a tax on imports. This is, in fact, the largest tax hike in the United States since 1993. Of course, there's going to be enormous economic implications coming out of this. One I really want to highlight for your viewers. Tariffs are a tax on imports. We all buy maple syrup. We all buy avocados. We're all going to pay some of the bill. In return, we're going to get a tax cut for the very wealthy. This is the reverse Robin Hood. This is a form of tax that takes from the poor. It's going to take the revenue and give it to the rich. So 90% of Americans are going to end up on the wrong side of these tariff hikes.
Stephen?
No, that's just factually incorrect. So if you look at what happened, and I have a personal stake in this because I helped write the very first version of the Trump tax cut. We saw, gigantic growth in the economy. We created more jobs. Everybody did better off. The professor is right that if we don't pass this tax extension, we'll face the biggest tax increase in the history of probably the world, a $4 trillion tax increase. It's really essential. Now, yes, we cut the corporate tax rate so we can make America more competitive. We brought a lot of capital and jobs back to the United States. But here's a statistic that I think is amazing. The average family in the United States saved $3,000 a year. That's huge. They're not going to pay $3,000 more in tariffs.
Okay, so, Professor, let's end it on this. One, is that true because of the pandemic spending, that people had more money? And two, the idea that more jobs came home and there was more revenue for corporations because of the tax cuts. Take those two on.
Yep, look, you don't need to talk to an economics professor to know what to think about these tariffs. Are they going to be good for American business? Fortunately, we've got a market where people place big bets on that. It's called the stock market. And what we saw yesterday and today was the stock market tanked. People who were betting millions of dollars on the future profitability of American corporations believe that imposing these tariffs make American corporations less profitable. And then you add on the rest of us are going to end up paying higher prices too. That's the test of your theory. It doesn't work and it hurts Americans.
Well, the futures are up. So those gamblers on Wall Street love to play it both ways. The rest of us can't, right? So Professor, just address the idea of the tax cuts brought more corporate activity and jobs back into the United States under the first Trump administration. Yes or no?
There's just not much evidence either way on that particular point. Stephen can claim otherwise with all the confidence in the world, but that's a talking point, not a fact.
All right, gentlemen.
Yeah, it is. Well, we had.
Go ahead. Make your last point, Stephen.
Well, look, we do know we brought about $2 trillion of capital in the United States, and we know that was meant to create jobs. But I'd simply say this: if the professor were right, because we did have tariffs in Trump's first term, and guess what? When we had those tariffs in Trump's first term, we didn't have any inflation. We had one of the lowest inflation rates ever.
We had tariffs on a very small number of goods.
Right.
Remember washing machines? What happened to the price of washing machines?
They went up.
They went up.
I know. I screwed up when I was putting mine in because I don't understand electrical, and I went through 3 of them. They definitely went up. Stephen Moore, thank you very much. Professor Wilford, it's really good to have you. I appreciate your addition to the dialogue. I look forward to having you on again. Stephen, always a pleasure. Thank you both. Hey, thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your screen. And don't forget, click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.